Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Sydney and I film cruelty-free beauty videos, and today's video is going to be all about my purple single shadows. Now that I have these in direct sunlight, I feel like maybe some of these aren't super purple, but we're just gonna roll with this arrangement that I already have put together. Oh shoot, I just remembered I have another palette that has some purple shadows in it that I rearranged. But I did a single shadow inventory video a couple of weeks ago, and you guys seemed really into the idea of me kind of swatching out my single shadows category by category. I had quite a few comments on that video with questions about my purple palette in particular, so I thought we would start here. So I can kind of give you guys the deets of these shadows. I'm gonna go grab that other palette that has just a couple of purple shadows in it. I created a little Valentine's Day palette. I'll link that video down below if you guys are interested in seeing that, or some of my other single shadow videos. I'll link my most recent videos. But without further blabbering, let's get into today's video because I have a feeling it's going to be long. Alright guys, so here we have this first little itty bitty shadow. This is a depotted ColourPop shadow. I think it's from their Chasing Rainbows palette, and this is the shade Not Playing. This is a really pretty shadow. It's got like a bit of a like a sheer base, so it's more of like a toppery shadow. It's really pretty. Next up we have Deliverer from Sydney Grace. This is such a gorgeous purple, you guys. Oh my goodness. How freaking gorgeous is that? I apologize that the lighting isn't like completely unobstructed. I'm filming in front of the biggest light that I have in my apartment, and it's my sliding glass door, so there are some things outside and like the door itself that are kind of obstructing some of the light, but just bear with me please. Next up we have this gorgeous shadow from Terra. This is called Wavelength. It's like a gorgeous purple with like a goldeny reflect, I think this has once it's swatched out, or maybe it's just like a pinky reflect. Really high shine intensity. Oh, so pretty. Next up we have Mist from Kaleido Cosmetics. This is a gorgeous, really soft metallic purple with a soft golden shift. Really pretty. Next up we have Kazookles from Devinah Cosmetics. This one has a really pretty blue base, but a very strong like purple shift to it. This is from the Willy Wonka collection. Next up we have Foxy Lady from Looksy Beauty. This is a really fun shadow. It's kind of got like a silvery purple base with a really gorgeous like goldeny reflect. It's not the most pigmented, which is kind of irritating, but it's a really fun shadow, which is why I keep it in my collection. This is the shade Sybil from Devinah Cosmetics. This is a gorgeous kind of like taupey purple shadow. This leans more neutral than like straight up purple. Then we have the shade Shine Bright from Sydney Grace, which is another one of those pretty purpley taupey shades. Next up we have the shade Runts. This is another one from Devinah Cosmetics. This one probably definitely should have been in with the blues. This has a really pretty blue base with a goldeny pinkish reflect. Next up we have Sydney Grace Haven, which is a really beautiful light matte. This is like a lavendery mauve. It doesn't swatch super well. Oh, maybe it's gonna swatch well today, but it's really gorgeous on the eyes. This is another depotted shadow from ColourPop. This is Something Special. I think it's from their All I See Is Magic palette. This shadow is really murky. I felt like it had some like purpley undertones, which is why I threw it into this palette, but it's definitely more of a neutrally purple. Next up we have Sydney Grace Magic Act, which is a really beautiful like fuchsia purple shade. Really gorgeous shade. Next up we have Cosmetics Beauty Berry. The shadow has a really pretty blue shift. It's very similar to Magic Act, but it has that blue shift, which makes it a little bit brighter and a little bit extra special. Okay guys, I moved my camera just a little bit, so I hope that angle's a little bit better. But this is Devinah Skyla. This is such a gorgeous, like, shifty duochrome shadow. Oh my goodness. This has a really gorgeous warm base and so much gorgeous shimmer throughout it. Next up we have Sydney Grace Be Kind, which is a beautiful, like, metallic plum shadow. Really, really fun for a smoky eye. See how easily that swatched? Holy moly. Next up we have Cosmetics Wildflower. This is a gorgeous metallic purple with a bit of a blue shift to it. It's not something that's super intense, but I feel like it just makes it a little bit brighter. Next up we have Sydney Grace Magenta Dreams. This is one of my favorite purples in my collection. This one is a lot like Wildflower, but it has a bit of a stronger blue shift in it. Gorgeous. Next up we have Sydney Grace Totally Worth It. This is a gorgeous, like, more cool toned purple. Super pretty. Next up we have Urban Fairy from Cosmetics. This is a gorgeous metallic purple with a little bit of a gold shift. It's nothing too strong, I just feel like it softens the purple a little bit. Next up we have Elysian from Cosmetics, which is a beautiful matte, like almost a pastel lilac. It's really, really gorgeous. Next up we have Altitude from Lethal Cosmetics. I feel like this is probably more of a pastel periwinkle shadow. It looks straight up blue next to that purple right there. Okay, this shadow is a mystery shadow, so I'm just going to pop that one back in there because I'm not really sure what it is. Next up we have this beautiful deep purple. This is from Sydney Grace, and this is the shade Flannel. How beautiful and vibrant is that purple? Next up we have the shade Face Painter from Sydney Grace. This is a much more muted purple compared to Flannel. Okay, next up we have Oil Painting from Sydney Grace. This is another one of those kind of like murky, purpley neutral shadows. My camera would ever focus on it. I always want to use this in a smoky eye, but I feel like I haven't mastered using this shadow without kind of looking like I've been punched in the face. Next up we have UFO from Terra. This is one of their Cosmic Chameleon shadows. It's not really shifty, it's just some more so like a really vibrant metallic. Really, really gorgeous. Okay, next up we have Starfire from Devinah Cosmetics. Again, I feel like in this lighting, this one is coming off much more pink. I think when I sorted my shadows the first time, I was in completely different lighting, so I apologize if some of these seem a little bit out of place. Next up we have Kaya from Devinah, which is a beautiful matte lavender shade. Their mattes really aren't my favorite, but this one's pretty good. Next up we have Regal from Sydney Grace. This is a super pale, like grayish purple shadow. Super duper light. This next shadow is from a brand that no longer exists, so I'm going to skip over that one and move on to this gorgeous periwinkle shade called Lunar Haze from Terra. This shadow is again from that brand that no longer exists. This shade right here is called Star City from Terra. Really, really gorgeous. Kind of like a warm, like lighter purple. I feel like a lot of the lighter purples that I have are more cool tone, but this one's a bit warmer. Next we have Periwinkle from Cosmetics, which is, as the name suggests, a beautiful periwinkle. Next up we have Siren from Sydney Grace, which is a gorgeous metallic light purpley mauve shadow. Next up we have Dream Big from Sydney Grace. This is definitely a plummy brown satiny shadow. I feel like this probably could have gone in my neutrals palette. Next up we have Lethal Cosmetics Unity. This is probably my favorite matte plum that I have in my singles collection. I really, really love it. It gets a lot of love from me. Next up, we have Looksy Beauty Raised in Hell. I don't really love this shadow. I kind of inherited it from a friend that was looking to get rid of their singles, but it's a cool toned matte purple. Next up, we have Role Model from Sydney Grace. This is kind of a warm, shimmery purple. Next up, we have Going Steady from ColourPop. Again, more of a warm matte purple. Then we have 143 from ColourPop, or 143 from ColourPop. I highly doubt this is available anymore. I bought this one along with the last one years and years ago. Next up, we have Wildberry from Cleona. This is a much more muted, like almost taupey purple. And then finally, we have Unpredictable from Sydney Grace. This is a matte, taupey, purple, plummy shadow. This is definitely more of a neutral purple. Alright, you guys, so those are all of my purple shadows. I hope that you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. I'm thinking I'm going to do green and blue next, so definitely subscribe and stay tuned if you guys are interested in watching those. But that's it for me today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to leave a comment down below letting me know what your favorite purple shadow is, whether it's a single or from a palette. I'd love to know. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching.